Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Backmarkers Racing League M99 GRAFX ARCA series race here at North Wilkesboro. This is the 60 feet 6 Foundation 160. We're going to have some short track racing here today as we enter into qualifying. I apologize for a little bit of a late intro here. We're just getting some other stuff set up. As you can see, we've got our live timing here set up with current looks. It looks like we already have a pole sitter. Blake Hoppy coming in just ahead of Steve Loving. And of course, before we dive into anything, it's always important. We want to make sure to shout out our sponsor, who is, of course, 60 Feet 6 Foundation. Named for the distance between the pitcher's mound and home plate, the 60 Feet 6 Foundation serves as a platform for baseball player Derek Holland to lend his time, help grow awareness, and offer direct financial support to charities dedicated to advancing the research and care for debilitating pediatric diseases, military veterans, and their families, as well as organizations that focus on enhancing the well-being of the local community. To find out more, you can go to 60feet6.org. Now, as we take a look here to see who all we have running, Austin Holbrook running in here as well tonight. We're going to have a pretty decent-sized field. It looked like we had about 22 guys out here in practice. All should be transferring over to qualifying. A very full field for a day of short track racing, that is for sure. As we take a look here, I believe we're just coming and finishing up with a couple of these guys. And of course, as you are well aware, I am your broadcast partner here, Rain Braun. Tonight, we are not going to be joined by Season 1 champion Tyler Barnett, as we usually are. He is having some technical difficulties, so we are just going to be kind of winging it ourselves here tonight, which is just fine. From what we're planning a little differently this evening, though, is we're going to see how many different drivers we can get a word in, get some extra time for interviews, so that we can really hear what's going on in the mind of these drivers during a race that can be as stressful and as intense as it is when it comes to a track as short and as hard to navigate as North Wilkesboro. It looks like I'm actually a bit off here. We've had a couple additional entries. We do have some penalty reports to go through here for guys who will not end up qualifying out here. Let's just go ahead and take a look to double up. Of course, Connor Morse, who was a bit of a spectacle during the last race, he ended up having a number of incidences towards the end. He ran a fantastic early race, but unfortunately towards the end he caused a couple of accidents, and so he has been issued an EOL and a drive-through penalty for the beginning of this race. And additionally, we have Charles Broderick, who also got into an incident. He will be serving an EOL and will not be qualifying, as well as Damian Marquez, who is also serving an EOL at the beginning of this race. Other than that, everybody else is pretty much just hopping in and running qualifying. I mean, from what it looks like here, we have 19 currently who have put through. Connor Morse did end up running his qualifying lap, but we also do need to account for Damian Marquez, Jackson Samsel, who did spin during his qualifying lap, Charles Broderick, Abraham Kalufa, and Michael Boyles. So we do actually have quite a bigger field than we were even anticipating, about 24 drivers it looks like. So this is going to be a very exciting one. As we get ready here to kick off, we'll be back as soon as we start gridding up. And here we go, as we are in fact gridding up. The drivers are getting into their position. As we take a look here, on the pole sitting is Blake Hoppy with Evil Empire Motorsports, followed by Steve Loving of Vintage Racing. And third will actually be, as the line will likely move up, it's technically going to be Carter Dyson with Evil Empire Motorsports, as Connor Morse with Impact Racing does need to drop to the back for an EOL and to serve a drive-through penalty at the beginning of this race. We're going to be followed up by Austin Holbrook of Off the Wall Racing, Logan Monteith of Evil Empire Motorsports, who of course was also our winner of the Round Here Entertainment 150 at Daytona, the first race of this season. And followed by Brady Powers of Mach 1 Racing, a very competitive racer who has finished in the podium. At first, he finished third at Daytona and second at Atlanta last week. A very, very strong start for this rookie to our season. Then followed by Jay Bass of Off the Wall Racing, Peter Stewart of Impact Racing, and Robert Brobst of Vintage Racing, as well as Dustin Bawley of Off the Wall Racing as well. So a very, very tight group of, very competitive, incredible racers here starting out this top line as we look to encounter some very, very interesting and very fun racing here at North Wilkesboro. Abraham Kalufa did reach out. He unfortunately had to step out due to a situation and is just not going to be able to run this race tonight. So hopefully we'll be able to see him back next week. It's always great having him on. But he will sorely be missed, and this field will be a 23-car field. So as we are looking here, Steve Loving warming up his tires as well. This is definitely going to be an interesting race. As we were watching through in the practice session just a bit earlier, we had some guys who definitely were having a bit of the struggle of keeping the car, from spinning out of turn 3 and 4, which is always seems to be a bit of a trouble for guys here who aren't super familiar with North Wilkesboro or just not super familiar with short track racing. And of course, the cool thing about Backmarkers Racing League and our M99 GRAFX ARCA series is that we do have a large amount of, new guys who are really coming in here and just starting out. So as we come around to the green flag, this thing's going to drop, and we are underway here at the 60 feet 6 foundation 160 at North Wilkesboro. And already we're off to a hot start with Blake Hoppy really taking off to the front there. Steve Loving falling in behind, gets a little tight already in this top 4 fight. As we're looking, they're going side by side coming out here, coming around turn 4, heading down that front stretch. And we already have a caution thrown out here as everybody comes slowing down on lap 2. I would not be surprised to hear a little bit more of this from time to time. Let's see exactly what happened here. Looks like Michael Boyles gets caught by Nick Seraph, and it sends him off track. He ends up hitting that inner wall. And he is, in fact, going to end up in the pit here. Unfortunate for him. But it seems very fortunate for Connor Morse at the time, who is having to serve his drive-through penalty. So he will end up coming out of that in a much better position than he would have if that would have kept green. But good news here is that, at the very least, when we look back here at Michael Boyles, he is already back out here. Michael Boyles, some damage on his front. Unsure if he's looking to come around and pit on this next run. We'll have to see here in just a moment. It looks like Damian Marquez is blinking out a little bit here as we come around lap 4. That's the thing about short track racing. You never quite, know what you're going to get. I mean, everybody in here is feeling really excited, really tense. This is the 3rd race of the season. This is the last race before our Christmas break, before we come back in January, where we're going to have 2 weeks off, 2 off weeks, that the ARCA series will not be running. But we will be back in January for Watkins Glen, so you're definitely going to want to tune in for that. Great road course racing from these guys. But because of that, there's a lot of high tension. There's a lot of opportunity on the line here. I mean, when we look at these different guys, we have somebody like Steve Loving who did finish 5th at Daytona. He had a phenomenal finish in Season 1 after only making 7 starts. And we moved back through this line with Blake Hoppe, finished third at Atlanta last week. Austin Holbrook ended up getting into a collision. Connor Morse turned him at one point towards the end of the race after he'd been leading a good amount of laps, and he was running for third and fourth. Ended up putting him a lot towards the back. We know that there's a lot more we're going to get to see out of this guy, and it's going to be exciting to watch it happen today. And Carter Dyson as well, number 15, finished 15th in the points in Season 1 as that rounds out. And Brady Powers, of course, as we said, finished the podium 2 different times as we come around to the green here at lap 6 at the 60 feet 6 foundation 160. There's so many sixes there, huh? At North Wilkesboro. Let's go ahead and get our tower down here with our 23 active cars. Abraham Kalufa, again, is sitting this one out. Steve Loving with a commanding lead out ahead here as we're going to take a look at what the gap actually is. Austin Holbrook making a huge push up, a second caution. You look away for just a moment, and we've already thrown another caution. What's happened here? Let's go back a bit, see exactly what threw this out. Tanner Prater spins. He manages to enter into pit lane. He pulls out, but it was enough that it apparently seemed to have ended up throwing out the caution. It was a self-contained spin. Short tracks end up holding that kind of thing up, so very good job keeping it out of there. It looks like we had some incident here with Charles Broderick as well during the caution. Checked up a little bit. Nathan Gentry slowed down a good bit, ended up having a little bit of potential contact. It didn't seem like anything too severe. Hopefully everybody's okay off of that. Same thing I imagine happened here with Damian Marquez. What exactly happened with Nathan Gentry that cost him? Oh, just, yep, Charles Broderick not seeing that it ended up coming up too fast. Yep. And that's why you got to be extra vigilant here. You don't want to end up being caught in a situation where you end up in a wreck this early on. Everybody, again, tensions are high. We round out here. We're going to get a little more volume on these cars. It's going to be a little quieter tonight than usual. We will start bringing in some drivers to hear from them, but considering we're on 2 cautions and only 10 laps, I kind of want to give them all a chance to adjust a little bit and settle in and get kind of those nerves shaken off before I start distracting them with anything. So here we are. The top 5, top 10 really hasn't really changed a whole lot. The only difference now is Austin Holbrook is now really fighting it with Steve Loving. Steve Loving with a fantastic start as he comes down, and Austin Holbrook really not giving him anything, just keeping with him the whole time. Blake Hoppe still holding really strong here. Third, fourth, fighting it out with Brady Powers, who is, you know, we cannot further emphasize just how incredible of a driver he's proven himself to be. And of course, Logan Monteith, the winner of Daytona and the second place points position for Season 1 of this ARCA series. You know, we have a lot of really incredible top contenders here. Steve Loving is a guy who, by all accounts, should have been in a position. Oh, no, and just like that, looks like something happened. Oh, we have a lot of cars caught up in this one. Where did this start? Let's try to see what happened here. We're going to go for a higher view just to make sure we can see everything. Looks like Brady Powers ended up coming off. He gets caught in that wall area, and he ends up collecting quite a few guys. Big mistake made here. Let's see who manages to get out of this one. Jay Bass, manages to hold just enough of a stop to not completely cream his or Logan Monteith's car as everybody else tries to come out unscathed here in this situation. Unbelievable. Oh, man. This is definitely a lot more action than we were hoping to see already at the start of this thing. Guys are definitely getting into their own heads here. Let's see if we can get somebody in here to talk real quick. Let's see about pulling in our leader here, Steve Loving, see what he has to say for just a moment. Hey, Steve, it's Rain up in the booth. You got me?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, man. So you've been leading this race for 15 laps. We've obviously had a couple of incidents. What's going through your mind right now? How you feeling?
Well, I've been shutting off the car to save fuel because at this rate, I think I might be able to just go the whole way. But I'm hoping everybody settles down and we get some green flag laps.
Absolutely. It looks like at least the second caution, it was a single car spin, and iRacing just kind of threw it. So uh, that's the nature of short track racing, I guess. Looks like you're having a pretty good challenge. You were with Blake Hoppy, now Austin Holbrook. What do you really for short tracks? What's your game plan? What do you try to do to keep yourself out ahead?
I'm going to just try to take it easy for the first 100 laps or so and just kind of let everybody settle in and wait for tires to kick in if we get some green flag laps. And that point, I can start to play a little bit of strategy. But for now, I'll just try to protect the bottom lane a little bit and take it easy in the corners and not try to overdo it and get the car loose and try to keep it out of trouble.
All right, sounds great. Good luck to you, man. I'm going to take you back to your team. All right, that was our leader, Steve Loving, who has already been showing some dominance here in this race, giving us a little insight into what he's thinking. Again, it's not optimal. It's not what you want to see, having 3 cautions already this early as he takes a huge start. Austin Holbrook, Adam Boyles, Carter Dyson, and Robert Brobst leading this pack of 5, followed by Dustin Volley and Michael Gudger. And Steve Loving is really holding a pretty solid lead ahead of this crew, but one thing that you do have to notice here is that he's being hard charged behind, not only by Austin Holbrook at this point, but now Adam Boyles, who's made his way up into this top 5. And Adam Boyles, a very strong competitor. Adam won the All-Star race last season here at North Wilkesboro. So you have to imagine, of all cars on track, of all the drivers, all of the talent that we have sitting in here, he definitely has some energy of being a favorite going into this, as he already makes a huge move past Austin Holbrook, closing him, and we come out with 4th caution. But I was going to say, as he ends up coming around to catch up to Steve Loving. And let's see exactly what happened here. Looks like we had an incident with a 16 car. Let's see what happened. He catches Logan a little bit, manages to keep it off of him. Looks like he just got a little loose. He sent it a little hard there. Spins. Keeps it in the pits for the most part. Manages to keep it out of everybody. He didn't quite crash. Again, just another spin, and it's coming out of 3 and 4, which we've seen a lot of right now. I mean, relatively, again, it's unfortunate for stopping the racing from continuing, but these guys really are managing to keep themselves from getting into any severe situations, which is a very fortunate thing to have. It's just definitely a lot harder when you see, you want to see some really good racing. You want to see this thing go green. Hopefully everybody's going to get their skivvies out here and kind of really figure out what's going on, get the squirreliness a little under control. Like Steve Loving was said, oh, we have some kind of crash here under yellow. What is going on here today? Tanner Prater slows it down. This must have been just some kind of netcode call by iRacing here, because I do not see any kind of touch happening between them in this replay. I'm not seeing it. Interesting. It showed a couple of cars ended up making contact, but it doesn't look like anything super ended up happening there. I think we're going to take a minute while we get a chance here, while this thing kind of settles up, and go and talk to one of our drivers here. Let's see. Hey, Adam, this is Rain up in the booth. How you feeling, man?
You know what? I'm feeling great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
After that wreck, like I started 12th, and then the only reason I've gotten this far is because that wreck. Like that wreck was crazy. So trying to remember like what exactly happened. And I don't even know what happened. What happened? Y'all saw the wreck. I don't know what happened. I just like turned my car to the left, and then the seas parted for me.
Brady Powers ended up clipping a part of the wall. He was a little high into it and ended up sending him down, collecting quite a number of you guys. But a lot of you ended up really pushing through with no damage. And one of those, we were saying, was you, the winner of North Wilkesboro at the All-Star race last season. So, you know, you're definitely an odds-on favorite, we imagine. I mean, what's your strategy coming out of this right now as the pace car dives off?
Keep the high lane. Don't give anybody any room, and get it done.
All right, I'm gonna take you back to your team, keep you from getting all messed up here.
Hey, you're good.
All right, man. Let's see here.
Ooh.
Whose chat were you in here? I don't see anybody in Impact.
I was in Racing Anonymous.
All right, I got you in there. All right. And there we heard it from our second place runner here. Our first place runner, he made a pass while we were talking to him to get around Steve Loving, and look at the speed at which he has already taken a dominance over Steve. And Steve is no slouch. As we keep saying, he's a guy by all accounts we could have imagined seeing have won a race already if he hadn't been, you know, just caught up in some situations out of his control for those first two races. But he's not one to make excuses. He's coming back with a vengeance. But it is incredible. You got to imagine Adam was kind of running in the back there. He might have some kind of low advantage just on tires, perhaps, that he's able to really maintain the lead that he's holding out here in front of Steve and Austin. Austin Holbrook and Robert Brobst here fighting over third and fourth position. Followed up by Dustin Bawley, Carter Dyson, and Michael Gudger fighting it out, trying to get up into that fifth area. It is a very competitive race as we drop back even further. Looking at Tyler DeTalent going for a pass on Peter Stewart. A little check up there. Almost gets caught by Mr. Moonpie, but Sean Johnson manages to just avoid Tyler DeTalent. And Jay Bast coming off of getting caught up again. A little bit of a tap in that accident. You know, managing to keep himself from getting into too much trouble. Holding himself pretty strong here at 11th, just outside of the top 10 as he's looking to crouch in and take whatever Mr. Moonpie's got going for him. And as we head to the back even a little bit, see exactly where we're fighting back here. Michael Boyles, Jackson Samsel, Logan Monteith, a surprising visual to see all the way back here. As we seem to have a connection issue for a moment. Whoa! I don't know what happened. What was that? Ladies and gentlemen, that either iRacing just had an incident or something ended up causing something major. I have nothing. Going back to look at this, everybody just in a crash. Mr. Moonpie and Jay Bass caught up in this. Oh, we're going to have to hear from these guys. I think we go in for a little bit of a group jump here. See exactly what's going on. Just a moment here. Hey guys, joining in here with a couple of you. Just a number of you were involved in this. I'm unsure of what happened because there's nothing on my screen. Was that some kind of iRacing situation or what happened there?
No, I saw Connor get into Sean on my left side, and then 32 kind of got pushed up and came up in front of me, and then I was in the wall. So just took my fast repair now and coming back around.
Wow. Well,
from my point of view, I was just...
Yeah, Jackson.
Yeah. From my point of view, I was just exiting turn 4, and I saw maybe it was Sean or maybe it was someone else got a little loose, and I saw a little stack up on the
Oh, yeah,
bottom
let
lane because
everybody
they were too wide pretty far back. We're choosing here, so but they were too wide, and I saw Sean's car get lifted up, and Jay was just a bystander. Kind of got moon pie. Mr. Moon Pie came out of nowhere.
Yeah, for me, the stream
Creamy.
just the racing session just kind of cut out, and then I come back and there's a wreck. So
Let
I'm
him
just
pick the
curious
highline.
what happened. All the cars
Strange.
disappeared for me. Might be having some kind of connection issue on my side, but thanks, you guys. Go ahead and get into your positions and get yourselves back in the game. Go get them. All right, so we're having some kind of issue here. It looks like maybe just some signal on my end, which unfortunately can happen from time to time. Yeah, it looks like. I'm unsure what exactly is causing this. It's gonna keep thinking everybody's wrecking as we head back to green. Lap 37 of the 60 feet 6 Foundation 160. Once again, I'm experiencing some kind of issue here with our broadcast. The yellow was thrown. I'm unsure what was actually the caution and what wasn't at this point. See if we can figure out what exactly is going on here for just a moment. You'll all bear with me. I'll leave you with the race for just a moment here as we kind of take a look and see what's going on with the stream and why the iRacing session is having some trouble chugging here. Well, it looks like it's righted a little bit here, but it seems like it is not a network connection issue. Something with iRacing is just going absolutely haywire right now for some reason. So we're just going to have to play this by ear. It looks like it's having some kind of loose connection because the stream seems to hold up just fine by itself. That's not being interrupted at all, so please bear with us here. Might just be an issue with internet provider coming into the PC right now to run the simulation, but hopefully this will end up resolving itself soon here. Might have just been a momentary issue. As we line back up, it looks like we're coming around to the green flag, and once again, we're looking at a very familiar front line. Steve Loving, Adam Boyles really takes off with it. Alston Holbrook, Robert Brobst, Carter Dyson, Dustin Bawley, and Connor Morse. Connor Morse making a pretty big return up to the top here, as my timing tower definitely did not like what was happening there. And once again, experiencing some severe issues with iRacing here. we might have to take a short pause here and relaunch the session and see if that doesn't help it. So, if you would please bear with us, we will be rejoining this shortly. Yeah, it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, iRacing is having a severe malfunction this evening. Entirely unsure as to why it's doing this. Trying to troubleshoot right now while we're under caution. That way we can still run the rest of this race pretty openly. So just bear with us for a few minutes more here as we try to get this sorted. you've definitely made up a deficit before of something similar to this. So, absolutely, let's see what you can do out there. Go ahead and get back up there and. Thankfully, I guess a caution did spin out to end up saving you a little bit from the positions you were losing and let you pit. I imagine, do you think you're going to make it to the end of this race on what you just pitted on?
We'll see. I don't think there's that much wear. I probably shouldn't even gone in for tires because I only spun a little bit. But yeah, I'll try to stay on these tires. Because if I have the outside on the restart, there's not much you can do. I'm surprised nobody else has it start on the outside because it's the fastest lane here. And that's the only way you pass people is on the outside here. So.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully we'll see some less cautions and some green flag racing here. Look forward to seeing you back at the front.
Yes, sir. Hope to talk to you soon.
All right. Once again, that was Mr. Adam Boyles, who was leading this race here for a little while and ended up getting caught up in a little bit of an incident there. As we jump back up to this front, again, a lot of familiar faces up here. We got Steve Loving running out in first, taking a commanding lead right off the top, followed by Austin Holbrook, Robert Brobst, who has been up here almost all night, and Connor Morse, of course, who is taking a real fight here for second place. Going in for that low line, but as you heard, it sounds like Adam thinks that high line is the best line. We're looking at the 9th caution here already on lap 68 of the 60 feet 6 foundation 160 here. Let's see what happened that brought out this yellow. Looks like it happens with Peter Stewart in 91 car. Oh, he gets clipped by Tyler to Talent. Just didn't check up enough, and he ends up collecting Jackson Samsel a little bit. That's going to end up making a lot of people unhappy with the way that turned out, for sure. I can imagine the frustration is definitely growing at this point. We're going to go ahead and pull somebody else in here, somebody who's been dying to get on this mic and talk with us. We're going to pull in Mr. Connor Morse. Let's see if we can get him in for just a moment. Hey, Connor, it's us up in the booth, man. We got you.
Oh, what's up, Ren?
Hey, how's it going, Connor?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. How have you been?
Pretty well so far. So, obviously, you're the youngest competitor in our field, and you've shown, even with some incidents that, occurred last week, you ran an incredible race at the start, leading a good portion of laps there for a while, and here you are serving an EOL at the beginning of this race, a drive-through penalty, and here you are behind Steve Loving fighting for second, trying to get up there to first. How you feeling so far about your chances? How your performance today?
I mean, I got a wicked fast car. I feel really good about my chances. I think if I keep my nose clean, I can definitely stay up here. I think I have a decent shot at it, but Steve is super talented, so we'll see.
Absolutely. Is there any current strategy you're currently working with? We talked with a couple of guys, got their idea of what line they're feeling most comfortable with. Where are you finding that sweet middle ground that's getting you as many positions as you're holding right now?
I mean, I think most of the reason why I'm up here is because I've been able to move around. If I need to go to the outside, I can go there. If I want to just bottom feed for 10 laps, I can do that too. I just feel like my car is really versatile right now. I think that's what is making me strong.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let you get back into your team group there and continue to do it. Looking forward to seeing you race here at the front.
Yeah.
All right, good luck.
All right.
All right, we just heard from Connor Morse, the youngest competitor in our field, and definitely does not lack the talent. That is something for sure. As we said, he had to serve an EOL and a drive-through penalty just due to some aggressive driving that took out some, ended up ruining some other racers' nights, so to speak, at the end of the last race. But he's just a really strong driver, and he gets really, really intense. And you can see it here. Look how far he's come all the way back to where he's at right now. He is able to move around and really make a big push to get to where he is. So As we take a look, it's Austin Holbrook once again fighting Steve Loving. He's not really disappeared from where he's at, finding a pretty comfortable line, but Connor Morris is definitely somebody to be looking out for here, as he is finding comfort in that low line, and he is just zooming around the track until he eventually finds the time to pass. As we look, Austin Holbrook keeping it pretty tight to Steve Loving here up in the front. We have a really tight race here with these top 3 cars, all really pushing it. Steve Loving, Austin Holbrook trading off different lead points. And of course, Adam Boyle's already making his way back up in the top 10, as you can see on the tower there, finding his way to 8th, most likely through some things here that may have ended up putting people into some pit operations here. Hopefully not keeping them too long out of the race, as you know, all of those points are very important. Every position is a point, and these guys are fighting for a championship right now, which Logan Monteith is currently the leader in the points. And we've thrown our 10th caution of the race. Once again, we're coming to a halt as we slow it down. Let's take a look back and see exactly what happened. Looks like Brian Brobst, something happened with him here. He gets loose and he comes down across the nose of Adam Boyles. It spins him into the wall. Unfortunate circumstance. He just got real close with him. And these cars, they do not have give. When you have a car underneath you from the back, I mean, especially on a short track, there really is no control to get it back into place. So, unfortunate smoke pouring out of his car. He's going to end up likely sitting in the pits for a little while if he doesn't have his fast repair ready to go. And it looks like we got a couple of guys heading from that front pack already deciding to take their pits. You heard Steve Loving say he was just conserving gas earlier, so perhaps that's just what he's going to hang on to here. As we do once again want to thank our sponsor for this amazing North Wilkesboro race this evening. That is, of course, the 60 Feet 6 Foundation. It's named for the distance between the pitcher's mound and home plate. The 60 Feet 6 Foundation serves as a platform for Derek Holland to lend his time, help grow awareness, and offer direct financial support to charities dedicated to advancing the research and care for debilitating pediatric diseases, military veterans, and their families, as well as organizing that focus on enhancing the well-being of the local community. If you want to end up supporting or going to take a look further at the 60 Feet 6 Foundation, we encourage you to go to 60feet6.org. Those are the numbers, 60feet6.org. Go take a look at what all the awesome stuff they're doing over there. As we come around, I think might be a good opportunity to pull in somebody else here. And I think Austin Holbrook might be the guy. He's running a pretty good race. Let's see what he's got to say about how he's running this evening. Hey. Oop. Lost him. Hey, Austin, it's Rain in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Hey, man. So we just wanted to take a minute to acknowledge the incredible run you've been having. It looks like you just took your pit here. Obviously, a lot of cautions, 10 here. It's about, 1 every 10 laps at this point, holding up a lot of green flag racing. But you've definitely been taking probably one of the strongest runs against Steve Loving this entire evening. Tell us a little bit about, what you're currently feeling with your car.
Feels pretty good. We were starting to get a little slippery on exit, so I went ahead and pit because we're at the halfway point. Hopefully the cautions let up a little bit. We'll get some green flag running because I think that helps me out. The 89 behind me is really fast, and 22 is, I don't know if he's still going or not, but he was quick too. So
yes, indeed. Adam
if we can
Boyles
climb
has
back to the
moved
front
up.
with no damage, that'd be a goal.
Absolutely. I mean, I think, as long as everything stays pretty clean back here. We just talked to Connor. He is running an incredible race, as you just said as well. He's mean fast back there. So, I mean, you definitely got your work cut out for you here, making your way back up through the pack. But especially with short track racing, you feel pretty confident you're going to get where you want to be by the end of this?
I think so. We're going to play it smart here, not push it, but I think we can definitely get our way back to the front.
All right, I'm going to take you back to your team here and let you get back to your green flag racing. Thanks so much, Austin.
Appreciate it, Ring.
Oh, and just like that, I take him back, and we have another collision. Ladies and gentlemen, the 11th caution. You can imagine what the chat is like in these driver comps for this race. This feels like it's going to be a bit of a long one, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what happened here. Ray Powers gets all up underneath Dustin Ball. He lifts him. And then gets tapped by Nick Seraph. Catches Tyler DeTalent. And Nathan Gentry plows him right up underneath, trying to make a move to the outside. And that's just the nature of the beast. God, I wonder why he tried to dive to that outside so early there. Maybe he was trying to avoid the checkup that he saw coming and didn't realize the car was on the outside line. This is already a circumstance that, you know, is worst case scenario for a lot of guys. As we look back up here, and we have a very incredible situation unfolding. Steve Loving, Vintage Racing, in first, followed by Robert Brobst in second, and Michael Gudger in third, all Vintage Racing. Followed up by Jay Bass, who's made his way all the way back up here. An incredible run, and of course, Adam Boyle's back up in the top 5. As it looks like Mr. Moonpie is getting the lucky dog to send him back around. I think at this rate, we might want to talk to Mr. Robert Brobst here, as he has had quite an interesting run. Let's go ahead and get him in. Hey, Robert, it's Rain up in the booth. How you doing, man?
Oh, okay. I was in the middle of discussing some pit strategy.
I apologize, but I mean, you're
It's all
sitting in the
good.
top 5. I need to talk to you, you know?
Yeah, it's all good. Oh. What do you got going on in the booth? Anything good?
Well, I tell you, 11 cautions and having to constantly catch up with them has been a little bit stressful. But I mean, what about you up there? I mean, you've been hanging in that top 5. I mean, you're definitely got a lot of consistency. While you're maybe not as fast as Steve and Adam and Connor and Austin were throwing, you haven't really given anything either. So what are you feeling in your car right now? What's the strategy going forward for yourself to finish out this race and keep Vintage up there where you guys currently are 1, 2, 3?
I gotta say it's just a matter of staying consistent, letting the people that are being aggressive go by until later in the race. We're still really early in this race, to be honest with you.
Yes,
And
we're about halfway.
We have a pit stop coming. We're probably gonna pit, maybe not the next, but the caution after the next.
All right.
And we gotta throw a shout out to the charity organization that we know they didn't pay to sponsor the race, but we put their name on it anyway. The 60-Foot Sticks Foundation folk.
Yes, absolutely.
And we're about to go green here. By the way,
I'm gonna drag you back to your team. Let you keep talking your strategy,
All right.
Robert.
Yep.
All right. As we see here again, teammates running this. This current situation, this lineup is vintage, off the wall racing, and impact racing right now, running this top 5. And you can imagine Vintage Racing. Oh, Michael Gudger with Adam Boyle flying out just underneath to take a big pass. But you can imagine that this is a very ideal scenario for these guys here in Vintage Racing who are already leading the team points. They want to keep themselves up there. So in order to do so, I mean, well, rather, they're I believe second place in team points, but a finish like this, first, second, third, or first, second, and fourth even, keeping them all in the top 5 is only going to lead to a better standing for them and getting that second year in a row team championship clutch for Vintage Racing. As we follow, it's very tight. Adam Boyle's getting right up on Robert Brobst and sending it down. He's got the run. It looks like, but Robert holds it pretty strong. I mean, Adam definitely gets around him, doesn't quite clear him, but he's probably going to clear him just here. That's right, coming into this turn as he gets up. And Adam sets his sights once again on Steve Loving. Adam, I believe, has had one of the fastest cars all night and is definitely very comfortable out here. And so long as he can keep himself out of the wall and not in a situation where he's in an incident, I can imagine that Adam Boyles is definitely a competitive threat to Steve Loving here to really take this thing on as we continue to watch this battle. And Adam Boyle's already really trying to hug that inside. Once he gets that run, he will just have it. As we see back there, Dustin Bally diving into the inside as well. Michael Boyles gets a little bit loose. As he and Dustin are fighting back there for that 5th position. We jump back up here to the front. Adam Boyle's already going for that pass on Steve Loving. As you heard earlier, I mean, Adam really favored that high line, but Steve's got a firm grasp on it. So Adam trying to keep that low line instead. You can imagine, I wonder if this is, well, it looks like we've just encountered a caution, actually. But as we were saying, I mean, this is actually a favorable opportunity for Adam Boyles. You realize he's going to start on that outside line, which he's very favorable with. Steve's going to get an incredible run, most likely off the restart, but Adam is also very fast off those restarts. So if he can get a better restart than Steve does here, we could be seeing a leader change as we go take a look back, see what happened. Charles Broderick in the 16. Looks like he probably just got loose. He did. He spins it. A little bit of a tap, probably enough to keep him out. Takes a look, makes sure he's not in the middle of the road. Spins it around, taps the back, but gets him out of it. Another single car incident, manages to avoid catching anybody else in the pack. That's a good thing to see. It's unfortunate, but that is the nature of it, where we're going to see, you know, spin outs here. And iRacing is really, these are iRacing only cautions. I do want to be sure that everybody is aware. No admin or race control is throwing these cautions. These cautions are totally on iRacing, and they're throwing it for pretty much everything at this point, I guess, due to the confines of the track itself, and how, you know, anybody could end up coming up on it with how short it is. So we'll have to see what remains here as we keep moving here on the 12th caution of the 97th lap of the 60 feet 6 foundation 160 here at North Wilkesboro. Story of the night so far has definitely been the dominance we've seen of the people in this front line, but the absolute animosity of Adam Boyles, who has charged twice now from the back of this field up to fighting for first. And I mean, if there's not a favorite in this race to win, then I don't know who it could be other than Adam Boyles at this point, who is absolutely showing what he is capable of. Steve Loving definitely feels that threat on from behind. You imagine he's going to want to get a really clean restart here. Probably throw a block just to keep him out of the way early. But, I mean, if Adam really does manage to get a hold of that high line and hold on to it, we're probably going to see a fierce battle, at the very least, for this first position up here. As we take a look at our current standings, Steve Loving in first, Adam Boyles in second, Robert Bropes still hanging out in that top 5 in third, Dustin Bawley in fourth. Looks like we have a little bit of a shift up, of course, because of the choose cone. Looks like the choices have been made, and Dustin Bawley instantly sending himself to the front with his competitive rival, his frenemy, Steve Loving. These two are two of the most competitive spirits in this entire league, and they definitely fight it out for every race they're a part of. So this is a very interesting situation. Oh, Dustin gets a bad restart. Ends up getting sent towards the back there. Adam Boyle staying hot on the trail. Goes right onto the inside of Steve Loving already. Making a move for the pass. Steve really strong on that high line. Not quite, but Adam is getting around him, just nosing him out. Adam keeping that pressure on. Moving around, sliding into first every little instance he can, getting little tenths of a second to set him up. But Steve charging back around, putting the rear end back into it, coming around those outsides. Oh, Adam gets a little loose. That's going to cost him. And once again, another caution, the 13th caution of this race. And it's at times like this that I definitely am missing my broadcast partner, Tyler Barnett, here tonight. Oh, man, the amount of things going on in this race. It's a lot to cover. Oh, man. Let's see what's happened here. I see Carter Dyson. Gets real slow. Austin Holbrook looks like he's going to go for the dive. Oh, and everybody just gets shoved. And Austin gets clambered into the... and backs all the way over, ends up on his roof, has to take it right to the pits. Oh. And Austin Holbrook. The curse strikes him again. Charles Broderick also spinning out in this instance here. Nosing it. He's probably going to be in the pits for a while. I imagine he's had to use his fast repair at this point. Like we said, a lot of cars here, they're going to be in instances where they end up spinning quite a bit. I think we have a great opportunity now to go and bring in someone else here. Let's go talk to Jackson Samsel and see exactly what he's thinking about this currently. Hey Jackson, it's me up in the booth. You got me?
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How's it going?
We're not good.
Yeah? Tell me a little bit about it.
I'm right on the edge of a penalty, so I've got to be really clean for the rest of the race because I've been involved in almost every wreck, and I'm just trying to stay alive.
Absolutely. I've been seeing your name pop up in a couple there. I mean, you've managed to get yourself back up into a top 10, which is, not a bad start at all. I do know that the shove came from you that ended up sending that and had Carter Dyson go across Austin Holbrook looking back at it. But, I mean, aside from that, how do you feel you're running so far this evening?
I've made mistakes, and I've been a part of other people's mistakes a lot. So I'm just trying to... I don't know how to feel about this because I'm in 8th, so I can't say that I've been doing horrible. But I don't know, man. I'm just trying to keep with it here.
For sure. What do you think the chances are we manage to get a decent green run here soon?
I'll give you a 2% chance.
Well,
We're getting we just crossed the 100 lap threshold, and I think that made everyone's thinking now. I still don't think we're gonna be calm here, so.
All right. Well,
we'll see. Maybe.
Good luck here. I hope you manage to not get involved in anything here again, and look forward to talking to you after the race, man.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, that was Jackson Samsel. Once again, as we kind of get ready here, some big moves made here from the choose cone. Blake Hoppy getting back to somewhere he hasn't been since the beginning of this race. We do need to take an opportunity to talk to him during what will likely be the next caution run we end up having. But man, just look at how he runs that outside line. Adam Boyle's fast around the outside of Blake Hoppy, who started in second there. Connor Mortz as well. I mean, really just everybody throwing everything they've got, but not, in a situation where, oh, no, it looks like we had quite a big one here. Really taking out a good portion of this backfield. I certainly hope not. Let's take a look here. See what happened as we try to take a blimp view. Nathan Gentry arcing that corner. Really coming down. Oh, gets right up inside Brady Powers, who just checked up. Let's take a look back at that. Really slowed down, really catches everybody here. And that's enough to tap. Take a look back. Austin Holbrook coming up. Just getting out of the pits, trying to keep himself back here. He sees it, he tries to get out. Charles Broderick also tried to avoid, ends up catching his teammate on the backside. Hopefully that's not too much damage. We're going to have to see what ended up happening with that, but here we are once again. I think now is an opportunity for us to take a look here and review our top 5 as it is Steve Loving, Adam Boyles, Connor Morse, Robert Brobst, and Dustin Bally. A lot of the same names we're seeing pretty regularly here. And as we fall back, we have Mr. Moonpie, Sean Johnson, followed by Peter Stewart, Michael Gudger, Jackson Samsel, and Brian Brobst rounding out that top 10. And looks like even being involved in that wreck just before, we do have Jay Bast just back here, and Austin Holbrook and Charles Broderick both 3 laps down. Tough situation. We have some kind of issue with Carter Dyson here again as well. Take a look. Perhaps. Something must have blown in his car for him to be driving that slow. What can I say, ladies and gentlemen? It has been eventful. Not a lot of green flag racing, unfortunately. We're approaching the level of Nashville Fairgrounds last season. This is definitely a lot more caution action than we saw during the All-Star race last season. So, I mean, this is a lot more in terms of cautions than we were all hoping to see, for sure. You can imagine how these guys in the front 5 feel. They're not really being given an opportunity to make huge moves. Looks like Steve Loving might have checked up on Adam Boyles a little bit there. Hold him back a bit. Connor Morris riding that inside. But as I was saying, you know, Steve Loving, he's holding pretty strong. He's got great restarts, but you look at these guys, Adam Boyles, Connor Morris, Robert Brobst even, running these really incredible races. Blake Hoppy at one point, and Austin Holbrook as well, all running these races that they've been putting together. And every time they get a chance, as we see here, we've got a yellow flag being thrown. This time, Nathan Gentry, that number 9 car. Might have been a single car spin. Let's take a look here. His back end has been messed up this entire race. Oh, he caught that wall. A lot of people have been catching that. Looks like it ended up sending him spinning. He kept it pretty tight up into the wall and manages to hold it down in the middle. Here we are once again. Not enough opportunity for these guys who are really making huge strides to actually go and challenge this leader of Steve Loving. And I think it might be time that we talk to a certain Mr. DeTalent, who's always ready to bring what he's thinking. Hey, Tyler, it's Rain up in the booth. You got me a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Oh boy, well, we just couldn't get through a race without getting a little bit of Tyler talk this evening, and I figure you got a lot to say, so let's hear what you got going on in there.
How much time you got, man?
I guess until you feel like that green's being thrown.
Oh, this is well, I like the aesthetic of the track, the old banners, and you know everything about the track screams retro NASCAR, which is great. Makes me want to pull into pit road and smoke a cigarette like Dick Trickle, you know. But this race is something, man. I'm having a rough time. I'm not all that great at this track to begin with, but then all these cautions are just breeding more cautions, and everybody's, you know, getting feisty and wanting to advance their position when it just. There's a long race, and everybody's trying to get everything they can as early as possible. But, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, you've managed to keep yourself up here, lead lap and everything, while other guys have not been so lucky. Have you been caught up in anything in particular that has taken you out? Do you still have your fast repair ready?
I have used my fast repair. I clipped someone going into one. They had spun out, and I was trying to avoid, and it totally ripped up the left front, so I had to come in. and use it. But other than that, I'm just trying to limp around and just try to halfway win the war of attrition. That's about all you can do at this point.
Well, I think you definitely have a shot for that. So, I mean, keep those spirits up. We're all hoping for a good green run here with these last almost 40 laps, but it doesn't seem like we're moving quite in that direction right now. So,
Yeah, I'm just gonna putt around and see what happens.
all right, Tyler, appreciate you, man. I'm gonna take you back to your team.
Yep, thanks, bud.
All right. As we just spoke with Tyler DeTalent there, we move back up and let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on up here at this front stretch. Adam Boyle's making a big push for the lead, already taking it to Steve Loving, and you know he's begging if that caution's gonna. Oh, and just enough to string him out. Steve has definitely got something to say in retaliation of that. A little bit of a push up, keep him strung up on that high line, but Adam feels real comfortable there. As long as he can keep Steve from forcing him into a position where he feels pinched, he can get that runoff and really start taking it once again. At one point, he was a full second ahead of Steve Loving before we had a caution that took him out, before he ended up getting dropped back through the pack that second time around. But he's made his way all the way up here. If you had to talk about a hard charger or definitely an MVP in this race, it's got to be Adam Boyles. Win or not, he is really showing his stuff. Absolute masterclass. Oh! A little bit of a tag. Looks like we're okay. Steve Loving, a little bit of a situation where looked like Robert Brobst checked up a little bit, got into Connor Morris. Dustin Bally not wanting any of that. Gonna go ahead and take this opportunity of Robert Brobst being a little bit slower, try to get around him and gain that position back. And as we look ahead, Adam Boyles is just gaining on speed. Steve Loving, and Steve trying to charge back and get back to him. But that 22 car is fast. As we take a look back, let's keep looking through the rest of our field at the rest of the fights ongoing here as we're on board with Michael Boyles. Ooh, just something happened there. Looks like we came just in time to catch an accident that occurred. Some unfortunate familiar names. Whoa! Connor Morse somehow caught up in this. Let me see what happened here. Connor Morse coming around. Oh, he just gets loose. Comes up, catches Robert Brobst, collects Michael Gudger. Michael Gudger really collects that outside, and that is a lot of cars being caught up here. Austin Holbrook managing to avoid getting any more damage to his car. Oh, just enough to avoid getting any more damage to his car. Wow, what an incredible amount of incidents here. Let's take one more look at this overhead and see Tanner Prater's perspective when these cars just start flying at him. Unbelievable. It looks like Jackson Samsel's climbing on board with us here. How's it going, Jackson?
Not well. I just got plowed wreck, lost a tire, and your team told me to come join you in the booth.
Well, it definitely looked like you were not having a good time there. That was a lot of people getting caught up in that last one. We're taking a look over it now, see everybody really get caught. I mean, kind of looking back at what ended up happening here, it looks like Connor Morse ended up getting tagged up. No, he ended up getting a little squirrely. He completely lost it, comes up track and ends up hitting Robert Brobst, which collects Michael Gudger and just starts the collection of the rest of the cars, with Austin Holbrook just barely managing to avoid any serious instance.
Yeah, but I lost it from my point of view for a second. I saw Robert pull down the track. I thought that would be it for me. And then there's that little crevice in the outside wall, and that I've got up out of turn 2. I've hit that and it bounced right back into the track, and it's been deadly. But Michael hit it straight on, bounced straight back into the track,
Yes, he did.
Played
That's
ping
what
pong
killed
with
him.
Peter, and then Tanner hit him straight into me, lost the tire with the contact with Connor. I thought I saved it, and then I came up the track and almost killed Logan. But
Well, it looks like we'll go ahead and I mean, if you're you feel your night's over at this point, or what's going on?
I have 8 minutes of repairs. I already used my fast repair in an earlier wreck. I have a 20x right now, 21x right now. I've already served my penalty. If I got back out there, I need 1x and I'm disqualified, so I'll take the points.
Well, there you go. I mean, not a terrible run. I mean, at least for the very end there, you got caught up in some stuff that you had no business even being looking at that point. So, you know, just yeah, go ahead and take what you can get out of it. We've had a huge shakeup here in this top 10. I don't know if you've noticed, but Steve Loving has dropped all the way back to 8th and 9th position. I'm unsure.
Took tires.
So he went through and finally pitted. He really held that long stretch. He definitely wanted those most laps led bonus points, which, as we were saying, was a really unfortunate situation because, I mean, when we don't have green, there's not a lot of opportunity for guys to challenge. The only person who really had the challenge on him has been Adam Boyles, who has definitely been the star of this race so far. He has charged.
And Adams. Well, he's in the lead now. He's been a madman all day. We saw him about lap 60 going 3 wide. He split about 8. Oh, and we got another yellow flag.
It looks like
Car
Nick
wrecking in
Seraph
turn
here.
4. Yeah. But Adam was a man. He had about 3 cars or 3 lanes of 2x2 right in front of him, and he decided that it would be the best choice for him to split all 3 of them and get up into top 10. And it was the most daring move. I complimented him over the team or over the radio, but
as we look back,
huge
here,
shakeup.
Charles Broderick got into the back of Nick Seraph there. Ended up turning him around, bringing out this caution. You know, we know a lot of guys who already felt kind of squirrely, a little unconfident going into this race, and it's definitely showing through right now. But a lot of people who are feeling pretty down about their chances in this race. Somebody like Dustin Bally, he's all the way up here at 2nd at this point, just playing his cards right, staying out of trouble as best he can. Even looking back to Tyler DeTalent, who I talked to just a little bit ago, really didn't like his chances. Look at what he was looking at, and here he is in the top 10, running 8th position. So he's definitely, you know, feeling a much better opportunity here.
Something to look out for is you've got Adam Boyles, P1. You've got his brother Michael Boyles, twin brothers, P3. They might try and help each other out on the restart. I don't know. Try and work with each other. They're on the same team. Might work with each other to get a restart, get them both 1-2.
Absolutely, and you know, a big portion of what we're seeing here is that somebody like as I'm trying to fix something with our overlay system. There we go. Steve Loving and especially Adam Boyles here, they've been having phenomenal restarts, just really getting at it. Every time that green flag drops, they're given the go-ahead. They are getting huge momentum. But, I mean, we go back to talking about Adam Boyles. We just have to. He ended up starting towards the back. He wasn't feeling too hot about it. Charged all the way back up to start leading and challenging, getting ahead of Steve Loving by a whole second at one point after he'd charged all the way from back where he was. And then, once again, ends up having to pit after he ends up colliding with the outside wall a little bit, sending it a little too high. He comes all the way back out from the back once again in that scenario, and here he is leading one more time. As looks like everybody's pretty much choosing that high line except for Logan Monteith, who shoots himself up to 2nd place.
Top 3 all picked the top. I would not have expected that at all, but maybe Michael and Adam are saying just working on it together. Yes, I will have that for you, Logan.
Absolutely.
I guess they just planned on going the top the whole time, but here we go.
As we come around off the 17th caution with 23 to go, praying for a green all the way. Adam Boyles once again, a huge restart, and Logan Monteith, an incredible dirt driver, a pretty decent short track driver. He's been at the back almost the entire race. Unsure whether he was just having a hard time. I know he got caught up in a couple of incidents, but I mean, has he just been biding his time here? What have you noticed with Logan so far, racing out there with him?
Well, Logan was Logan was in the back for a while. Then he came up to the front. All of a sudden, went back over to the back. I hung out with him for a little bit, and then he went all the way back in the front. Now he's P2. This is an exact replica of our All-Star race last year. These two battled it out for the final, I don't know, 50 laps is a 100-lap feature. They battled it out the whole time.
And once again, we're repeating, and I mean, it's clear Adam Boyles is good at North Wilkesboro. His car has been fast. He has had total control almost this entire race. And to have come back twice, I think that's really where we're looking at it, with the yellow flag being thrown out for the
wrecking in the back.
Caution. Looks like Brian
That's
Gross,
Carter
Dyson
Yep.
involved in this one. Let's go take a look. And I say while we're looking at this, why don't we see about getting Logan in here? I'm talking with him for a moment.
I'll get him in here for you.
That'd be great. Brian Brobst. Oh! And Carter Dyson both went around. Carter Dyson, I'm not sure what really sent him. Let's take a look here. Hey, Logan, it's Rain up in the booth, and Jackson's joining me here. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Man, what a charge up to the position you're in right now. I mean, obviously, I'm sure you're feeling a lot of the same way about the current cautions that everybody else is feeling, but what is it, you know, you were pretty much towards the back for a large portion of this, and now you've charged all the way back up to second. Has that just been strategy? Has it just been luck? What's got you here?
A little of everything. I think just avoiding cautions, pitting at the right time, and just getting tires at the right time. So it's just gonna see how this plays out.
Now, obviously, a lot of guys are, you know, in situations. I mean, we're up to 18 cautions, but a couple of those have been single car spins, and iRacing is obviously throwing all of these themselves at this point. So, I mean, does that discourage you at all, seeing the caution number climb this higher? You know, do you still feel pretty confident of being able to make enough moves with 16 laps to go to clinch out a victory here?
I'm not sure. I can't say much because I brought out 2 of them, but
well, I think there was a good number of different individuals who brought out cautions, so it's going to be a fun day diving back through that later. So,
yeah, I'm gonna see. Just, you know, if we win this, we win it. If not, hope for a top 5. Good points day.
All right. Well, thanks very much, Logan. We'll go drop you back with your team. Good luck to you, man.
Good luck, Logan.
Thank you.
Okay, he's out here. They'll be choosing the next time by the line, if I'm correct.
It appears so. And I mean, let's take a look at this top 5 situation where we're standing in. I mean, Adam Boyles, like we said, it's no surprise he's up here with the way he's racing. Logan Monteith, a huge surprise to be in the position he's in. Dustin Bawley's been pretty much trying to hold himself in the top 10. Already elevated back into the top 5, holding pretty strong. Felt pretty lack of confidence coming into this race. Michael Boyles followed up by that. He was involved in an incident earlier on, and he's managed to keep himself up. And Steve Loving escalating himself all the way back up, choosing this inside line here. I mean, this is definitely a collection of drivers that you would expect from their caliber of talent and their ability to be running for the win. But for most part, aside from Steve and Adam, most of them really haven't been seeing the front here. So, I mean, you were out there feeling the car, Jackson. What's it like for these guys? What's it feel like running these as we come to the green flag here with 14 to go?
Well, you're going to see these drivers drive down to the turn 1, and the top line's been the line all day. You've probably seen that in the broadcast.
Whoa,
oh, we got a little bump. Michael got into Dustin.
Bawley. Really not the time to be getting on Dustin Bawley's bumper there. Dustin clears
Absolutely
right
not.
out. Says
Look at
no.
Steve.
So much going on.
Yeah,
Can't
but
even get an answer.
right. Looking through the pack, they're 3 wide a little bit. Connor's gonna make a move. He doesn't want to make that move. Okay, he doesn't. But you're going to get down into turn 1. You're going to feel the car really loose. It's a smooth exit out of turn 2. Get down into turn 3. That's where the car gets a little uneasy on you, but it's easy to get through turn 3. And then the turn 4 exit, you've got the pit entry there. It's a little tough. We saw a wreck on pit entry earlier, and you'll get out of that turn 4, and you want to get right up against that wall to get the most speed. And you see all these drivers trying it, but when you're side by side with somebody, you need that outside lane going out of turn 4 and into turn 1.
Absolutely. It looks like we have another incident. Maybe
Yep,
not.
wrecking in the back.
No, we did.
They haven't thrown it.
iRacing has not thrown the... There it is.
Now they have.
Because they're coming up around. And Michael Gudger, Brady Powers, Austin Holbrook, Charles Broderick, Nick Seraph involved. I tell you, as a team owner, it's a bunch of names I don't want to see involved in this. Let's see what happens as we travel back. Oh, so it looks like Tanner Prater. Something happens with Tanner Prater here. He comes in, he gets tapped as he arcs the corner by Mr. Moonpie. Austin ends up punting Michael Gudger right into the wall and collects a number of cars behind them in that incident. Just an unfortunate situation.
Not a good day for Michael.
Not a good day for
Not
Michael.
a good day for everyone.
He's fallen all the way back through. Not a good day for Austin Holbrook, who is leading this race at one point.
Austin's been dominant. I've been in VC with him all day. He was doing great for really long into the race. He got involved in a few wrecks, and that few wrecks turned into being 3 laps down. And he just couldn't recover. They had about 4 guys on 1 lap down, maybe two laps down. I understand we've had a lot of cautions, but come back from 3 laps down because you've got all those guys who have wrecked, and he just could not get away from being 3 laps down.
Well, I tell you, it's disheartening for these drivers for sure, because you know they want to get out there and just run a long competitive race. And there's definitely going to be a lot of talk, I imagine, post-race about situations that unfolded here. But before we dive too much into any more analysis here, we do need to once again go back and thank our sponsor once again here for North Wilkesboro, the 60 Feet 6 Foundation. Named for the distance between the pitcher's mound and home plate, the 60 Feet 6 Foundation serves as a platform for Derek Holland to lend his time, help grow awareness, and offer direct financial support to charities dedicated to advancing the research and care for debilitating pediatric diseases, military veterans, and their families, as well as organizations that focus on enhancing the well-being of the local community. If you're interested in finding out more, please visit 60feet6.org. That is the numbers 60 feet, F-E-E-T, 6.org. to go see about contributing yourself.
Yeah, and we really think what all these sponsors do. 60 Feet 6, they were a big sponsor for Evil Empire, which is Logan's team. He runs with a few other guys in the field. They even have a team here, and they were willing enough to lend in some money from their team and from the team over at 60 Feet 6, and they got to sponsor a few races. They've been good partners with us. So we thank them and all our other sponsors.
Absolutely. And as they're choosing here, Logan Monteith taking that inside line. He wants to directly challenge Adam Boyles here, with Michael Boyles
Pretty even.
catching up really close, and Steve Loving, I imagine, knowing... I mean, first of all, Steve acknowledged this earlier. Connor Morris has run a pretty incredible race. He's kept his nose clean almost the entire time. He's been caught in the back for a little while here, but he was running for that lead as well for a while, running an incredible run.
He had a drive-through at the start of the race.
Yeah, he came back and was leading after an EOL and a drive-through penalty. He is bad fast. These cars up here at the front, I mean, we're looking
4 to go
at probably the fastest car on the track, Adam Boyles, at this point, followed by either Connor Morris or Steve Loving, definitely. It might be Connor Morris is a little bit faster than Steve, but Steve has definitely just got the consistency, the control.
They're really anxious in the back and the front pack. Adam's pulling away. 3 to go.
Gonna put himself another second ahead. I really feel like
Reckon. Carter. Yellow flag.
Just like that, a yellow flag, the 20th caution. That is not what Adam Boyles wanted to see, as he's pulling away almost by a whole second with 3 to go. I can imagine if he gets this thing taken from him, he is not going to be very happy.
Yeah, I need to remember to clear black flags. I've just been doing that. I'm getting too carried away in broadcasting.
I tell you, it's a very, very interesting ordeal living up here in broadcasting world, but I really think at this time we might want to bring in somebody else, but honestly, I don't want to bother any of the guys up in the front because they've got a lot of focus on their hands. So
Yeah, I've got it ready the next time. Well, yeah, I maybe bring in somebody. There's just a lot going on in the field. I think these guys are probably talking with their teams. We don't want to interrupt them.
And that's a big portion of it is because of this, because of strategy at this point. Everybody wants to live. And Austin Holbrook getting a lucky dog, it looks like, either that or a wave around.
Woo!
Thankfully, getting himself up a little bit, dropping out of to being just 2 laps down. I mean, ideally, we don't want to see any more cautions, but if anything else happened to get thrown, he'd find himself back on the lead lap really soon here. I mean, how many more green-white checkers could we be encountering at this point? What's the max that we can go here, Jackson?
We can get 3. So, just knowing that we can have 3, being patient. They're probably not going to be patient this first one. That second one, that's going to be a little shock to them. They're gonna run a little bit easier. I think we might get it done on the second green-white checkered, but I would not expect to finish this race after this green-white checkered, but I may be shocked. And Adam is driving through the grass. Got to clean those tires off.
Yeah. A little bit of strategy.
And he's being.
Himself.
I mean, that is a plus. Logan just got onto him for it, but that is a plus at times because it will cool your tires off a lot. But then it also gives you that 1x that you don't want. So
that's true, and we do have that implemented iRacing built-in disqualification system. And as we know, I believe Nick Seraph has already ended up having his race cut short, as well as Brady Powers. And I imagine a couple of others potentially here.
I was on that train too. I parked it before I could get my 20-second X, but
looks like Damian
choosing
Marquez
this time
well.
at line, it looks. Yeah, I don't want to. I would get back out there, but
you don't want to take the chance.
I would,
of course. Yeah.
Yeah, because disqualification, you don't get points, and we just had a wreck under caution. Connor just looked like he went up and slammed Michael. Or Dustin, maybe. I don't.
I'm unsure what happened here.
Well,
nothing showed up for the scoring, so we'll just have to
first green-white checkered.
Play it by ear.
Here we go.
Around, following as we come to the green-white checkered here at North Wilkesboro in the 60 feet 6 Foundation 160. It has been eventful, and hopefully we can keep this thing green and just let everybody get through. Adam Boyles has
clean
worked
third
really
1 and
hard
2
to get to where he is at this point. You know he does not want to be in a position to be losing where he's at right now. As we come to the white flag, this thing is final. The way this ends is how it ends right now. Logan Monteith looking to that inside.
Connor and Steve having a battle for third.
Oh, Michael Boyles gets a little loose. Connor and Steve really duking it out here. The
Logan's going to try and dive it in there.
But Adam just blocks him with
not
a
gonna
smooth
get anything
block.
done. Connor's going to get the P3.
And Adam Boyles takes the win at the 60 feet 6 Foundation 160 here in North Wilkesboro, taking himself up from the back of the pack 2 different instances to claim the victory and win here at North Wilkesboro for the 2nd year in a row.
He's the all-star race winner. He's had the curse. He'd only won non-points paying races. That changes today. He's been dominant at this track for so long. Adam really deserves this win. And if last season was the season of no parity at all, having 2 different winners in 10 races, we've had 3 different winners in 3. So we cannot be complaining here.
An unbelievable sight we saw back there just now. A little love from his teammates. Look at that. The celebration from Connor Morris and Michael Boyles for the big win for Impact Racing here. But as we saw, the pole sitter, Blake Hoppy, looked pretty messed up on that back straightaway towards the end of the race. It's incredible what happens, you know, in such a short amount of time as everybody keeps sending it. These cars are really, really not going to look too hot in pictures, but boy, do we not want to, you know, this is a very well-deserved celebration for Adam Boyles. Got to give him his time in the sun here, as he has 100% earned his victory here at North Wilkesboro.
Let's get Adam in the broadcast booth.
Not just yet. We got a couple of people we got to talk to first.
Oh, we're gonna go through the. Okay.
Oh, yes,
I
indeed.
see how we do it.
Well, first off, Jackson, I mean, you've talked to us a lot already, so I mean, you're already feeling the heat of that situation. I think the next person we want to come in and talk to would be Mr. Steve Loving. At this point, he finished just outside of the top 3, so I'm gonna go ahead and see about dragging him in here.
Let's do it.
Hey, Steve, it's us from the broadcast booth. You got us?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, man, an incredible race. Pretty much running first, second the entire time. All the way to coming up, finishing just outside of podium position, but a very respectable 4th nonetheless. I mean, how are you feeling about how you performed? I know there's, a lot of cautions, a lot of instances where, you didn't really have a chance to catch up to Adam as fast as he was, actually getting to run. But, I mean, your own performance personally, how do you feel it went?
Honestly, I have no idea. I never got the tires over 172 degrees. So aside from that, I mean, the car drove well at pace. As soon as I could get up to speed and try to do anything, it was another caution. So honestly, I really have no idea. It was quite painful, but fortunately it's behind us, and now we can look ahead to the next one.
Absolutely. And as far as, a lot of the cautions, I think we closed out, Jackson, you'll have to correct me here. I think we closed out with 20?
I can check for you.
Either 20 or 21 is what we closed out with. I mean, you were pretty much in the front all day, so you didn't have to encounter too much of that. But, I mean, what does that do for you guys in the front in an instance like that? I mean, it can't let you get a lot of runs on people to start building, and especially it's probably not something you want to see when you're closing in on the final laps.
Yeah, well, I originally thought about just staying out the whole time. Hindsight, kind of wish I did that, but after that, when there was a big wreck back on like 105, I don't know when it was, there was a huge one on the back straightaway. It spaced out the field enough to where I was like, you know what, if I might as well just grab tires now, and I can come back out in 9th and not come back out in 21st. And if things start to stay green, then whoever's in front of me has been on their tires since basically the beginning. So I was kind of banking on at some point maybe we would actually go green and I could use the strategy. And if that didn't happen, I was at least close enough to where if I just held behind someone, just naturally going double file with attrition, I could gain some spots and just take my time with it. But towards the end, I had, there's a little bit of aggression behind me, and I was hesitant to really dive in front of anyone to try to push anything heavy, because just knowing I can get scooped real easy. So I was a little more comfortable just finishing in 3rd or 4th or whatever it was than getting scooped and finishing in 20th.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely playing the safe game at the end. I mean, it paid off. All of those points matter. They're going to end up elevating you there with a 4th place finish. Nothing to be ashamed of coming around that. And I believe, I mean, we'll have to double check, but I feel almost certain you had to have led most of these laps here tonight. If not, you were very close. So maybe taking in a bonus point, but you definitely got bonus points for leading. So, fantastic job this evening, Steve.
Yeah, Adam did a great job. I have to definitely compliment Adam. He ran a fantastic race. He got next to me, and I saw him. He was pushing it really hard early on, and I was like, you know what, I want to just let him go. I didn't race him too hard. Later in the race, we got side by side. I did run him a little bit hard. You probably saw the difference, but early on, I just basically let him go, and he was getting a good 10th or so per lap, and I was like, bye. And I figured he's going to heat up his tires and get loose, and then he did. And it was pretty close. He almost clipped me, but that's the beginning. I was trying to play a different strategy, and towards the end, just realized that probably wasn't going to work out, so I had to kind of go to a plan B.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we're having a little bit of a break, of course, coming up here for these next 2 weeks. Now we're heading to Watkins Glen. How do you feel about your outlooks on the road course?
Great. It'll be much more spaced out. We can do our thing. I'm banking on Dustin to probably take the win on Watkins. But I don't know. I'll give him a run for his money, but he's strong on road, so he's definitely going to be the guy to watch. And just to be clear, I'm not his number 1 fan.
Well, I'm sure he'll be very happy to hear the words you've had to say about him a little bit later. So,
absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Steve. I'll drag you back over there. Great finish. Look forward to seeing what you got for the rest of the season, man.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Before we get the next guy in here,
yeah.
Adam led 79 laps, but Steve barely topped him with 85.
85.
So he does get that bonus point.
And just like that,
we had
that's an all-important bonus point for sure.
20 cautions, 96 caution laps, and only 5 lead changes.
That's a very incredible finale there.
That's yeah.
I know there's a lot of people that want to talk, but I really feel like the best thing we can do right now is go ahead and drag in our top 3, starting with Connor Morse. Going to go ahead and get Connor in here, who's run a really strong race throughout this evening, or at least we would, but Connor seems to have disappeared.
Connor, leave.
See if you can poke him for a minute. We'll go ahead and see about getting our second place Logan in here instead while we wait for him. Hey, Logan, up here in broadcast, you copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Man, I mean, we were just talking to you, but again, holding out that rear end of the pack for most of the race, and here you are coming up with second place. A very familiar spot being in this top 5 or podium area for you already this season. I mean, how you feeling?
I'm just glad that race is over. A lot of stuff that we're gonna have to go over, but I mean, yeah, it wasn't a good race at all.
No, definitely ended up being a bit of a cluster for most of it. We were just looking over, the stats for how many cautions it came out to, and I know that this race control team is going to have a time diving through these cautions and deciding what penalties are going to have to be handled out, and I'm certainly glad that I'm not going to be the one doing that at this point. But aside from the cautions and everything, your shoot from where you were towards around 15th, that kind of area, all the way up to getting yourself into second and holding it all the way to the finish. I mean, what really got you there with your conservation, the way you kind of drove it? What ended up getting you to the point where you were able to make all of those passes and get up front?
There was a point where I had fresher tires than most other people, and I kind of just made my way through the pack, and I kind of just heated up too much there at the end to really do anything.
For sure. Well, I mean, congrats, of course, on second place. It's a fantastic finish. It's going to go a long way. We were just talking, we got a couple of weeks off here, and then we're coming back at Watkins Glen. How you feeling about the road course?
I'm feeling pretty good. I know we have some new guys in here, so I don't know who's all good at road courses and stuff, but I know last road course, I mean, Tyler put a clinic on the field, but I think I had 17-20 seconds on the guy behind me in second.
For sure. Well, I mean, great finish. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go back?
M99 GRAFX, 60 feet 6 foundation for sponsoring this race. If you haven't thought about donating anything, this charity is a great donation place for your money. It goes to a really, really good cause.
Absolutely. And once again, yeah, big shout out, big thanks to 60 Feet 6 and our series sponsor, M99 GRAFX, as well as our broadcast partner, Extreme Sim TV. Couldn't be able to do any of this without any of them.
No, we wouldn't. Thank you.
All right, Logan. See you, man. All right. And did Connor Morse end up coming back online?
No, I haven't got anything back, so
well,
up to you from here.
Unfortunately, that's pretty much going to mean that we're talking to Adam now, unless he comes in. But let's go ahead and bring in our race winner, the man who really showed us how much he deserved it here. Let's get the back-to-back Adam Boyles. Hey, Adam, it's up here in the booth, man. How's it going?
It's going so great. Oh my goodness. That is so good. Like, literally, I did not expect to win that because Logan, Steve, and everybody else is on fresher tires. But by the grace of God, we were able to hold it down. Connor and Michael, even though they wrecked each other at the restart zone, or choose cone, they held them up pretty good, so I got to thank them as well. But man, this feels so great.
Absolutely. And I don't understand. I mean, I guess in the car you you know, that's just that humble side of you. But from our perspective, we don't see who else was going to win this thing. Short from you spinning that car out. You've been bad fast all night. You fast charged through the entire field twice to get up to first.
Mm-hmm.
And you absolutely put a hurting on the rest of that field. You were a full second ahead of the guys in second, third, fighting it out a couple of times. I mean, I don't think this was a tires race at all. You got something in that car, something or other, because it is definitely the fastest thing out there tonight.
I'm not cheating, okay? It's fixed setup. I can't cheat. But yeah, without God, I wouldn't be able to do it. But it was, man, it after like racing last year, having that as the all-star race, I was able to figure out the outside lane, and I just used that the whole, like in 1 and 2, you enter high and then go low and get a straighter run off the corner. That's what I did the whole race, and surprisingly, no one else did. Like I thought everyone else was gonna do it, but nobody did. But yeah, it was so much fun.
Absolutely. And I mean, even more so, let's just talk about not only you, but your teammate Connor Morse. What a race he ran tonight as well, huh?
Yeah, he did. He was really fast. We got to work on some things, being a little too aggressive, but he is mad fast. The dude is like 12 years old, and he's like he's super quick. But yeah, everyone at Impact Racing, they have been doing so good. I know last race didn't go our way because number one of our teammates didn't even make the race. And then Connor, let's not worry about that. Poor guy. And then yeah, it was a bad race, but thank the Lord we had a good race this race, and I'm glad we have 2 drop races. Definitely gonna need it because we have Watkins Glen after this, right?
Yep, that's what's next.
Oh no! All right. Well, yeah. Lord willing, we'll win that thing too.
Absolutely.
But
No
yeah.
hope for Watkins Glen, huh?
None whatsoever. I
Well,
might have to take this 2-week break to practice every single day. I might finish in the top 10. So
Put your new
we'll see.
trophy in the car next to you. Maybe it'll
Oh,
be
yeah,
a good look charm.
Hey, that's true.
Well, I
But,
mean, we talked to you early on in this race. I mean, you didn't feel very confident at one point in this thing. I mean, and here you are coming all the way back, you know, taking this win for yourself. I mean, it's a huge win. So who knows? Maybe next week you do show out, you end up getting a huge position change, and maybe you come out and win this thing again, huh?
Yes, sir. We'll try. I'm really hoping for Iowa and a couple other short tracks as bread and butter. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully I can do good on those tracks. But I need to practice more, obviously, because like literally this race and last year's race, I didn't even like practice. I practiced a little bit today, but I don't know. It's just by the grace of God we're able to like run this quick at North Wilkesboro. But yeah. Oh yeah.
Absolutely. And a big congratulations to your first points paying victory in the series. It's not your first win. This would be your third victory in the series overall, I believe. Daytona last season, the preseason race, and then the All-Star race here at North Wilkesboro, and then you decide to take it back to back as the points count here at North Wilkesboro this year. So huge congratulations on that.
Thank you. I didn't even think about that until you said that.
we were
Yeah.
talking about it, so
Yeah, it took long enough, didn't it?
it did, and it couldn't have happened to, you know, a more deserving person. You earned this race for sure.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
Alright,
thank y'all
man.
so much. Y'all do a great
Absolutely.
job broadcasting and Jackson running the show. But yeah, thank y'all. God bless. I hope y'all have a good night.
You
Have
as
a good
well,
one.
man. Enjoy your team. Enjoy your win.
I appreciate it. See ya.
All right, well, we got to drag Connor Morrison here. He did show up. He threw me a big, wait, I'm here, I'm sorry, as he dove off kind of early. Wasn't expecting to get interviewed, I guess. So let's go ahead and drag him in here real quick and hear what he's got to say. I think he's definitely earned an interview with the way he drove tonight.
You'll be feeling good.
Hey, Connor,
There
it's
he
us up
is.
in the booth. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. That race was something else.
Yeah, to say the least, I suppose. Tell us a little bit about, you know, before we get into your overall performance, tell us a little bit about how you know, I mean, how many was it again, Jackson? 20 cautions or 21 cautions?
20.
20 cautions. How does that affect you as a driver, especially driving towards the front for a good portion of this race, trying to make up some positions? You know, how does that many cautions end up? What does that end up doing to you mentally while you're trying to get in the zone to run a green run?
I mean, it's difficult to get into a rhythm. I know a few of those were my fault. I like I said, I just couldn't get into the zone, and then that happened. But really, it's just like I know I've had my fair share of incidents, but nothing really like this. I know that the people here are better than that, and it wasn't taxing, I'd say. I would say it's just one of those things where you're just like you're finally finding your groove, and then all of a sudden like a timeout gets called and like your kicker gets iced. Like that you're out of the zone.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. That ends up really taking a toll on your psyche, I imagine. But nonetheless, coming up with a huge turnout, getting to third. I mean, you led a couple here, I believe. At one point, you were bad fast all night. I believe you were at least either the second or third fastest car on this track tonight. Managing to keep yourself pretty much out of trouble for a large portion of it. And, you know, it really paid off for you in the end here, getting to take a huge win. I mean, how does that feel? You know, I mean, third place, that's a big podium opportunity this early in the season for you.
Yeah, it's pretty nice to be able to get that top five, to get that podium. It's always a good feeling, but I mean, yeah, it was just a weird, wacky race. I wasn't expecting that many cautions. How many caution laps was it?
Ooh, I think it was 96. Yeah,
Good.
96.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's rough.
Well, if anyone had a good day, it was Adam, the other top three, and the flagman. He had a field day out
He
there.
had a very busy day. I mean, hey, we're talking about Adam right now. How does it feel seeing the owner of your team and seeing Impact Racing get this huge win in the third race of this season already?
It's really cool. I don't this is Impact's I I don't know, but it's really cool to see Adam get his first win. I know he was vying for that for a really long time, and it's just cool to see that. And you know, for the entire team, it was just a really great race. Peter got 11th, Michael got 5th, I got 3rd, and Adam took it home. So that's just super cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, you guys finishing in the top five, all on the odd numbers there, taking home a really big one for Impact Racing. This is going to do a number for you guys in team points and even for you in driver points at this point. But as we were asking everybody else, we got 2 weeks break, and then we're coming back at Watkins Glen. How do you feel about the Glen?
I mean, I'm I'm no great road course racer, but I feel like I can definitely strengthen my position, maybe get a 15th, 14th, and if I'm lucky, I can probably squeeze into the top 10. But Watkins Glen is one of those tracks where you never know what's gonna happen. Trouble could strike at any moment, so it's just gonna be crazy.
For sure. Well, we look forward to having you in the booth more often here with some more top finishes. Congratulations on taking home that third, your first podium this season. And here's to many more for you, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You as well. All right, and that pretty much sums it up. Let's take a look here at the results just one final time. We'll dive over some previous point stats. The finish here, of course, run through our top 10. Adam Boyles with Impact Racing, Logan Monteith, Evil Empire and Motorsports, Connor Morse with Impact Racing, Steve Loving with Vintage, Michael Boyles with Impact, Robert Brobst with Vintage Racing. Robert held up in there in the top 5 almost the entire race. A very, very fantastic showing for him. Tyler DeTalon with Evil Empire.
They even said Robert was having some lag issues for a while, and I guess he had enough cautions to figure it out. But once we got back going, it wasn't an issue. And I think he was in the top 5 for 80, 85, 90% of the race.
Absolutely. And as just an incredible run from him. Tyler DeTalon, Evil Empire at 7th. Dustin Bally with a very respectable 8th for Off the Wall Racing. Sean Johnson with 9th for Backmarkers. And Jay Bass with Off the Wall Racing coming in, finishing out, rounding out that top 10. I mean, by all accounts, while we did see some really unfortunate, situations unfold that ended up having, a lot of cautions brought out here, we also saw a large number of really competitive, great racing from guys who kept it clean pretty much the entire race. I believe Steve Loving and Dustin Bally finished without any incident points, which is a huge accomplishment in a race with 20 cautions. So, I mean, while we did have some issues with the field, obviously some things are going to be addressed to try to tone down whatever was going on in that instance. But, for the most part, we had a lot of guys really showing what they were capable of all night. And, as we said, couldn't be more deserving the person who ended up taking this one home the way he ran tonight. And as we take a look here at the points before this evening, we don't have anything tallied. This is not official just yet for things, but Logan Monteith was in the lead, the championship standings with 88 points, followed by Brady Powers, who had a little bit of a harder night this evening, finishing 19th. So that's going to drop him back a little bit. Blake Hoppy rounding out 3rd, Dustin Bally and Jackson Samsel. Yourself, Jackson up here in 5th in points prior to this race. So we'll have to see how the rest of this kind of shakes out for everybody else. And as we dive into the team points as well, prior to this race, the standings were Evil Empire Motorsports at 215 points, and Logan's finish is definitely going to help keep that up there. Vintage Racing at 211 points, Impact Racing at 194. That's going to be a big boost for them. Backmarkers Racing at 190, Mach 1 Racing at 181 points, and Off the Wall Racing at 174. Racers Anonymous 145, Dumpster Fire Racing 133. And those were those previous points. We'll have those updated for the next race.
And I was able to find our current driver standing. So Adam, he takes the lead of the championship by 1 point over Logan.
Wow.
So he's got 90 points. Logan's got 89. Brady Powers, he had a pretty good day. He was involved in a few wrecks. He's at 84 points now. Dustin with 83. He had the win last week at Atlanta. Steve right behind him, 82. Blake right behind him, 81. So we've got 84, 83, 82, 81 all in a line there. Robert with 78. Connor, he's been doing really good lately, 73 for him. Michael Boyles, he missed a race, 72 for him. Sean Johnson with 72 also, and I'm rounding out the top 10 with 71 points myself.
Wow, and that's an incredible shakeup from the points we just discussed there already. So, I mean, we got a 2-week break here. People are going to go home, hang out with family, and celebrate the holiday season. But as well, a number of them are probably going to get out, and they're likely going to spend some time here really preparing for Watkins Glen, which is going to be a big help to them during that time. So it's going to be really exciting to see how the season continues to shake out as we finally, I believe this is our 4th different points-paying victor that we've seen this season in all of our seasons so far. The 4 points-paying winners we've had so far were Tyler Barnett, Logan Monteith, Dustin Bally, and Adam Boyles. And that rounds out our 4 winners in this entire league so far at this point. So it will be very interesting to see. Steve Loving pegged Dustin Bally for it. I mean, who knows what we're going to see out of this. I mean, we know that last season at Sonoma, Jackson, you had a very incredible run, so maybe that'll be you up there even. We're going to have to see what happens.
I hope so. Logan showed a lot of confidence in himself, so he'd probably be my pick. Logan knows road courses well. If it's not Tyler, who's not racing, it would be Logan in my opinion. But I don't know what Dustin has on a road course. I do know what Steve has on a road course. He's very good at turning people in the final hairpin at Sonoma.
Holding old grudges. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out for the next race.
Yeah. When I'm near him for the rest of the season, I'll make sure to get my payback. But yeah, Logan would be my pick. He has confidence in himself, and he's good at road course. He's good at anywhere. I mean, he's second in points by 1 point right now, so Logan's a good racer. But anyone can take it. It's a road course. It's It's all fun and games until turn 1, and then you know who's probably going to win it unless they make a mistake.
Absolutely. Well, it was a pleasure having you join me up here. I appreciate, anybody jumping in and joining and helping out in the broadcast. Tyler Barnett was missed this week go round. He had some internet issues and wasn't able to connect up, but hopefully all that'll be fixed and he'll be back, new mic and all, come for the new year at Watkins Glen to co-broadcast that race as well. I want to give one more big shout out to, of course, our race sponsor, the 60 Feet 6 Foundation. Once again, that is a very, very incredible charity that we have helping support us here. It's named for the distance between the pitcher's mound and home plate. The 60 Feet 6 Foundation serves as a platform for Derek Holland to lend his time, help grow awareness, and offer direct financial support to charities dedicated to advancing the research and care for debilitating pediatric diseases, military veterans and their families, as well as organizations that focus on enhancing the well-being of the local community. If you'd like to find out more or to donate, please go to 60feet6.org. That is 60feet6.org, and go give and show your support, because they've definitely shown us support. As well, we want to thank our series sponsor, M99 GRAFX, Logan Monteith, and his amazing work on his iRacing schemes and his wraps that he's done. And of course, our broadcasting partner, Extreme Sim TV, where we broadcast all of our races live for you guys to see each week. We're looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Not next week, rather. We're going to be off next week and the week after that, so do keep that in mind. And then we will be back officially on January 5th, Thursday, January 5th of 2023, bringing in that new year at Watkins Glen International for the PaintTheGrass.com 150. So you guys make sure to tune back in for that. It's going to be a very exciting race. Anything you want to say before we head off, Jackson?
You nailed it with all our partners. Just want to thank everyone who watches these, even if you're watching it in the past. Everyone who races with us. I know it was a hard one today, but we'll go out there. We'll figure it out sometime soon. It's just new people racing with each other. So I want to thank everyone who races with us, and you, Rain and Tyler, for helping us just do this, and Matt for helping us do this also, giving us the platform to do it.
Absolutely. And just like that, we just want to say thank you so much for tuning in once again to the 60 Feet 6 Foundation 160 here at North Wilkesboro. We'll see you guys in 3 weeks at Watkins Glen. Enjoy your holiday, and we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.